What's up, y'all? It's your host, the most Dutch most. The Crispy. Welcome back to another video. Brewski! Marvel sues Sony for this superhero flop. Let's see what's going on with this. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow our social media. It's gonna pop up on the screen. We is on the road to 500. And let's get on to this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow our social media. It's gonna pop up on the screen. I hope you're having a
in the
good 4th of July.
mid-2000s, where Hollywood was into superhero
minute.
family comedies. Some of them were solid hits, others didn't do as well. Superhero family comedies. Some of them were solid hits, others didn't do as well, but one stood out for being a gigantic flop.
Oh.
Zoom has become notorious, not just for bombing at the box office, but for the controversy and legal battles that came with it. Marvel sued over the film before it even hit theaters, and things didn't get any better after its release.
I said I wanted to make it real, in the real world, so it wasn't fanciful like Goofy.
Unlike most superhero movies, Zoom wasn't based on a major household name. Most people who saw the movie didn't even realize it was adapting something. In June 2003, Revolution Studios acquired the rights to Zoom's Academy for the Super Gifted, a black and white comic series created by former Disney animator Jason Lethko. The story centered around a 13-year-old girl with low self-esteem named Summer Jones, who lives with her eccentric father, Jasper, following her parents' divorce. She discovers that her dad is actually a teacher at Zoom's Academy for the Super Gifted, a hidden school on a remote island that trains young superheroes. The comic was short-lived, running for just 3 issues between 2000 and 2002. While it received some positive reviews, it never gained much attention and failed to attract a large audience. But years later, after signing his deal with Revolution, Lethko was given the opportunity to re-release the series as a tie-in to the film. He got to work, blending elements of the novels while changing several details along the way. One of the biggest changes was the setting. Instead of a remote island, Zoom's Academy was now a secret school hidden in the clouds. And if that sounds familiar, it's because with Sony Pictures set to distribute the film. As the screenplay evolved, the writers took only minimal inspiration from the comic, and by the end, it had become a very loose adaptation of Zoom's Academy. A few characters from the series remained. Summer Jones was still in the movie and played by Kate Mara, but she had completely different powers and was no longer the story's main protagonist.
What was the original powers? What was the original powers in? Onto this stuff. Yeah, she just had flying powers. What she like? What type of power she had? Nah, only reason why I clicked this because I accidentally clicked it. But yeah, what type of power she had though? But she got mind controlling now.
The script revolved around Jack Shephard. The script revolved around Jack Shephard, aka Captain Zoom, a washed-up superhero who reluctantly comes out of retirement to train a group of superpowered kids and stop an impending threat. The character was played by Tim Allen. But Allen wasn't just a cast member, he helped write the initial screenplay. According to him, the earlier drafts had a completely different tone. I am a superhero guy, and I helped write that movie. It was very different in script form, much darker than when it came out. It was a neat idea of what superheroes are really capable of doing. At some point, the studio shifted the project in a more family-friendly direction. The ideas were probably closer to something like The Boys, presumably without the dicks and gratuitous blood.
To me, it's the reality of it that I liked. Is that it's not a pleasant experience. It's not something that every superhero comic book, for those of us that read them, they're not happy people. Because there's a reason for it. You're never enough. You're too much. You never get privacy. It's somewhat analogous to a celebrity lifestyle. You don't feel any different than anybody really, but you're treated different. You're taken advantage of. You're treated better. At the same time, people can't wait to see you do stuff wrong, so they can and you're never enough. You're too much at times. It's quite a ride sometimes. This one had some elements that had to be toned down a bit, and also it was a compromise. It was really a compromise in a committee with Sony to get this so that it wasn't too violent for kids, but had some action in it and some threat.
It's fair to assume the movie could have at least been more distinct, because its lack of originality is ultimately what led to problems for the studio. On June 20th, 2005, Fox and Marvel Enterprises filed a civil lawsuit against Sony Pictures and Revolution Studios in the U.S. District Court in Los Angeles. At the time the lawsuit was filed, filming hadn't even started, and Zoom wasn't scheduled to hit theaters for another year. In Hollywood, studios deal with legal disputes all the time, whether it's over distribution rights, contract breaches, or smaller knockoff productions using someone else's intellectual property. But it was relatively rare for a major studio to go after another. While Sony was developing and preparing to shoot Zoom, Fox was in pre-production on the third X-Men film. Someone at Fox or Marvel.
Then what's the point of you trying to sue the thing if y'all was working on X-Men? Something that's better than Zoom. No, that's why I'm not getting it. Like, I'm not getting it at all, bro. Why was the point of Marvel and Fox come together as one and sued Zoom, even though Fox was working on X-Men? That's what I don't get at all.
Had received a copy of the Zoom screenplay, and when executives saw the release plans, they weren't happy. By that point, between the first two X-Men movies, the franchise had grossed over $700 million, so a new installment was pretty much guaranteed to be a massive hit. X-Men The Last Stand was slated for release on May 26, 2006. Sony scheduled Zoom to premiere on May 12th of the same year. The lawsuit argued that Sony and Revolution were marketing and distributing Zoom in a way that piggybacked on the success of the X-Men franchise. It claimed the film was originally supposed to come out in August, but after Fox announced X-Men 3, Sony moved the date up. Zoom's release in May 2006, immediately before the release of X3, is an unfair attempt by Sony and Revolution to manipulate the market and trade off the time, energy, resources, and effort Marvel and Fox have invested in X-Men. It was unusual for a release date to play such a central role in a legal claim. If Zoom had stuck to its original August premiere, it's possible the lawsuit may have never been filed. Two superhero movies releasing around the same time was nothing new. Burt Fields, the attorney representing Sony and Revolution, dismissed the allegations as off the rails, arguing that the two films were fundamentally different. I have never seen a studio sue another over placing a movie near their competitor's picture. Every studio places their pictures in order to get the best of their competition. That is what America is all about. No court would say there's something wrong. Still, beyond the release date, some of the comparisons were hard to ignore. In Zoom, people with superpowers are viewed as outcasts and distrusted by society, much like mutants in X-Men. The story set—
Well, that's like every superhero movie. Come on. Incredibles. Like, cause at one point, they was heroes. Everybody liked them. Until then, nobody liked them. There's plenty other heroes movie too. Like, so many. And they just want to go off, like, you know. And I never saw the movie Zoom before, so who knows? It might be something we need to watch after Scream. But till then, like, they ain't go with Disney Plus when they made Sky High. But they won't go after Sony. Even though I don't mess with Sony at what they did to Michael Jackson, but I'm on their side this one. And I love Marvel, Fox. You low key kind of wrong. Like, trying to like bump down your competitor. Like, you should be happy. This is competition. Like, real talk. X-Men was probably gonna do better than Zoom anyways. Like, probably people was gonna prefer to go to X-Men. But look, you can see the side-by-side pictures. Look,
and
way
distrusted
different.
by society, much like mutants in X-Men. The story centers on an embittered superhero with a tragic past who is recruited to a secret facility that trains young superheroes. Even the matching team uniforms introduced by the end of the film drew comparisons to X-Men. What made these similarities more
Alright, now,
noteworthy at the end of the film
come on now. The black is cleaner than the white. Keep it a buck.
superheroes. Even the
That look like, bro, dude look like a whole marshmallow around here. Look like they about to go to space right here. Wearing all of this, they look like they about to go to space. The black one is way better than the white.
matching team uniforms introduced by the end of the film drew comparisons to X-Men. What made these similarities more noteworthy was that many of them weren't present in the original comic series. The lawsuit noted that in the original books, the students of Zoom's academy attended a school on a floating island in the sky. In the screenplay, though, the setting was changed to an underground training facility, like in X-Men. The Zoom kids trained at Area 52, a secret military facility built into a mountain in New Mexico, while the X-Men received their training beneath a school in New York. It's not like this was Dougal releasing the same month as Seven. The movies definitely shared some core ideas, yet Fields maintained that their vastly different tones set them apart. These two pictures are totally different. X-Men is a dark, frightening picture about mutant wars, and Zoom is a lighthearted comedy with Tim Allen and Chevy Chase, and has a totally different story. Robert B. Cohen, who was the executive vice president of legal affairs at Fox, argued otherwise. You can't steal someone's literary property, change the tone, and then pretend you never stole the key underlying elements of the property. Does anyone seriously think that Fox could go ahead and make Spider-Man the comedy without Sony objecting? Weeks went by, and the two sides were unable to reach a resolution. The writers on Zoom did make a few changes to the script in response to the lawsuit, but most of them were minor things, like name changes. They were also able to get the rating changed from PG-13 to PG, most likely from watering the script down even more. Production moved forward, and filming began the following month. Despite the legal drama, not every aspect of production was a challenge. Most of the cast got along well. While Tim Allen had his issues with the script and the studio's changes to the tone, he still seemed to enjoy making the movie. And most surprisingly, there weren't any Chevy Chase horror stories. Many of the actors underwent extensive physical training and learned real martial arts techniques, though much of that effort would get overshadowed by cheap early 2000s CGI. A lot of the sets were built practically, and a considerable amount of work went into constructing locations like the training facility itself. For the character of Mr. Pibb, the filmmakers built an actual working robot. Operated by remote control, it was built primarily from plastic and aluminum.
Mr. Pibb can do about a half dozen different things. He has a hand that opens and closes. He's got elbows that will move up and down, in and out. He is quite capable of actually walking around, but at the speed of a small child, a couple miles an hour, that sort of thing.
About a month into filming, The Hollywood Reporter put out an article revealing that both parties had come to a mutually beneficial understanding, and the lawsuit was officially dropped. Zoom's release date was changed to August. A source at Revolution claimed the decision had nothing to do with the lawsuit. Instead, they said it was driven by Warner Bros. Announcing the release of Poseidon for May 12th. Either way, the dispute came to an end before things could get too messy. That following year, Sony and Revolution were gearing up for Zoom's release, but there really wasn't much of a
Stalker! Yes! And they're about to get a blast from the past. Just like riding a bike.
Despite being made on a budget of $75 million, it looked cheap. The promotional interviews didn't do it any favors either. For most of them, Tim Allen just joked around and didn't seem to care at all. The guy couldn't even remember his character's name.
My character was obsessed with Tim Allen's character and Courtney with Tim. And
Did I have a name?
yes. I couldn't tell you.
Jack.
Jack, yes. Jack Shepard? No.
No. Is it
Jack.
Shepard?
I think it's Shepard.
The warning signs were seeping through. Early projections were reportedly
Oh, look
weak.
at that kid off of the Cat in the Hat. I wonder what other roles they was playing besides Cat in the Hat.
And Sony chose not to hold advanced screenings for critics, which is typical when a studio is losing confidence. Zoom ended up premiering on August 11th, 2006, and it bombed hard. After placing 9th at the box office and earning $4.5 million in its opening weekend, there wasn't much hope for the movie. Sony basically gave up on its international rollout, and by the end of its theatrical run, Zoom had grossed $12.5 million worldwide, almost a $65 million loss. Upon release, it received a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, an honor only a handful of films had earned before. The reviews called it lazy, uninspired, cheesy, and unfunny. If the bad jokes and ugly effects weren't enough, the shameless product placement pushed it over the edge.
What kind of toys do you have?
Chicken sandwich.
Zoom would go on to be nominated for a Razzie Award, though it did manage to reach a 5% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It was bound to be compared to similar films from that era. As time went on, there were many posts and reviews that did exactly that, with videos calling it a sky-high ripoff. The scene where they test their powers and receive judgments closely resembled the superhero or sidekick sequence in Sky High, but worse.
Sidekick.
The premises of the two films are already very similar, but if Zoom's Academy had been adapted more faithfully, it would have essentially been Sky High all over again. The 2005 tie-in novel features a secret superhero school in the clouds, a main...
If old dude would have wrote it how he wrote it, it probably wouldn't have bombed. It probably would have been a whole different story to this. Who knows?
Character struggling to figure out their powers with a father connected to the superhero world and a roster of students with weird abilities. At the end of the day, it was kind of a lose-lose for Zoom. If it was slightly darker, it would have been more like X-Men. If it was more like the book, it would have been Sky High. But that might have saved them the legal troubles.
But who knows, though? I mean, who knows? It be like that. Movies just don't, be how it used to be. But hey, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, follow our social media. Gonna pop on the screen. On the road to 500. Love y'all. I'm out. Don't do no crazy stuff. And I'm always watching you.